Yeah, let's, resolution is right. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start sharing here. Okay, can you guys see my slide deck? You can't? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, great. And I want to keep the bridge unmuted, so if there's background noise, mute yourself. You can do it through the GoToMeeting control panel, or I will mute you because it'll tell me you're talking. So we've got about 25 slides or so today. So we're going to start out with the course outline. I broke it down to 3 modules. Today we're going to talk about the basics of RPM, and I think one thing I do naturally is I kind of break things down to a very basic level automatically. So the nice thing about that is we have, we're going to talk about at a basic level what RPM is or OPA, depending on which one you've used before. And then we're going to build the life plan, and we're going to choose 2 categories to work on. You can choose more, but we're going to go start out basic because the real key in making RPM work is the shift in mindset that you need to go through. So because it's a shift in mindset, and that mindset is kind of what pulls everything else through. So with module 2, we're going to go through the paper and electronic tool review. We are going to go through the weekly planning process and the daily planning process. And in week 3, we're going to kind of review the weekly and daily planning process. We're also going to cover some ways I have come up with and learned from other people on how to stay productive. And then, okay, you've got all this planned. Now it's your time. Now it's your daytime. How do you actually execute it and execute it consistently so you don't get burned out and you're productive and getting things done and staying balanced throughout the day. So there's some other things there that aren't from RPM that I've learned. I pulled a lot of stuff out of the way we aren't working. The Way We're Working Isn't Working book. I don't know if you guys have read that book by Schwartz, but it's really good. And there's some stuff in there from Matthew Kimberly and Scott Dinsmore too about weekly planning. So that's kind of the outline there. And then we also, if you're in the full course version, there are some one-on-one calls. I'll go over those in a little bit more detail at the end of the call, but basically there's a 30-minute call that we'll do within the next week, and I'll review your categories and your life plan with you. And then we're going to schedule a call that we have up to 90 minutes for after module 2. And the purpose of that call is to walk you through the weekly planning process. So that's kind of the outline we're sticking to right there. First of all, I want to say this stuff is actually easy. It has a perception of being hard, but the reality is it's a lot easier than you think, and it's probably easier than what you're doing today, and it's very powerful. It will set you free. It will unleash you. You will become a rock star super god of awesomeness. You really will, because it really brings you into balance, because you get the things that are done that are important and aren't necessarily urgent. And it's those type of things that we kind of miss. And all of a sudden we look at our calendar and like a year went by and we didn't do anything in one area of our life. So it is easy. Just accept that it's easy and it's new, right? Anything new, you have to learn it. So, commit to doing it, right? Just make the decision that I am going to do it. And it's very easy to turn the RPM planning into a fancy to-do list. So you have to really be aware of that. We are shifting your mentality here, the mindset. And the 10 secrets, I think, to the RPM mastery is, in my experience with the Robbins environment and me personally and the other people I've met in the Robbins world, there's a lot of achievers, and otherwise you wouldn't be on this call right now. And achievers like to try to be perfect, and we say we're going after outstanding, and we're going to be outstanding, but a lot of times perfection creeps in there, and we get perfection focused, and we don't get anything done. You can sit there and look at your life plan and go, oh my God, is this ultimate purpose right? Is it going to drive me? What if it drives me in the wrong direction? Oh, I got to work on it more. I'm going to push it off till tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, okay, I don't have the time to have the focus on that. I'm going to push it out, right? And all of a sudden, 2 weeks went by, you haven't done that, and you haven't created your life plan. And the life plan could be simple as, hey, what do I really want in life? I want to have abundance and have happiness and friends and fun and great stuff in my life. It can be simple. So like you, me, all of us on this phone, we will never, ever, ever be perfect, because it's impossible, and it is the lowest standard. So perfection is not possible. Our lives are constantly changing and evolving. This life plan will constantly change and evolve. So start somewhere. When you do your life plan homework, take 15 minutes, don't take 2 hours, right? What's my ultimate purpose? Okay, my ultimate purpose is boom, I wrote 3 sentences down. It's down. I got something. The ultimate vision, boom. The basic, the real strength here and the real value and what's really going to make it happen is get something done and start and move on. You can always fix it later, but get something done. Don't get stuck on, is it perfect or I need to fix it? Just go, okay? So that's why my top 10 secrets to RPM mastery are always the same. Done is better than perfect. It is write it on your wall. If done is better than perfect. You get something done, you're like, oh, it's, because perfect, there's nothing. So done, you have something. So that's the end of my rant. So the other secret here, no matter what, do not stop doing this process. Don't stop doing it. Make the decision. Like, I'm sure everybody here has probably taken a 6 a.m. flight before. And 6 a.m. flights are not that fun because you have to wake up at like 3 in the morning, right? And when you were taking a 6 a.m. flight and you knew you had to get up at 3 a.m., when 3 a.m. your alarm clock went off, did you get up right away? Did you snooze? Did you question your decision to get up? No, the decision was made. So you got up instantly and you got in the car and you went to the airport, right? So make that type of decision with this process. I am making this decision. I invested hundreds of dollars in this software. I'm putting another $100 into this training class because I want to learn. You know there's value in it. And so let go, commit, and just do it. If you stop in the middle of the week, if you get too busy to plan one day, just pick up the next day. If you miss weekly planning one day, or you blocked out 2 hours at the beginning of the week and you had a fire come up at work or home, just do the best you can and keep going. I would personally always get into a situation where I would be trying to be perfect, and then I would stop, and then I would miss, and then I'd be like, okay, I need to redo the whole plan, and I found my time redoing plans the whole time and not get anything done. So one thing that's really changed with me is just keep going. Just, it doesn't have to be perfect. It never will be. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. So just pick up and keep going where you're at. So for the commitment time, and this is what I want everybody on this call to commit to, is first of all, if you've been to Date with Destiny, you've got a lot of the life plan stuff created already. What I would say is make sure that stuff is still valid and say it and get into state and move it and use that. If you don't have the life plan, create one. I'm going to send you a template at the end of the call today. Take 15 minutes. What is the ultimate vision of my life? What is the ultimate purpose? What else is important to me? And we'll go through those components here on this in the slide deck in a minute. So take some time, go over those, and then for your categories, you can pick 100 categories. You can pick 5 or 6 categories for each, but we want to make this work, right? And I found that every time I've tried to start this and failed, it's because I try to do 10 categories. So pick 2 categories, and what I want you to do is pick one category that is that one category that you have to do, that you need to focus on, whether it's your work, your body, or something, but you want the result, but isn't that exciting, but it's a top priority. Pick that one. The other category, pick a fun, exciting category, someplace that you will love spending your time that you haven't got in. Like maybe you want to paint, or you want to be a photographer, or spend time with your families, or play music, or be in martial arts. Pick one of those categories that you're going to love, because when you start planning your weeks and you're putting this stuff in, you put in time. Hey, I'm going to work on that fun area on Tuesday. It's going to make you feel great and bring into some balance. Also, we're going to commit to weekly planning at least 4 weeks, right? You do this for 4 weeks and you've got it, right? You should be doing this indefinitely, but if you're feeling frustrated, keep going 4 weeks. Block out 2 hours at the beginning of the week. You can do it Monday morning, you can do it Sunday, you can do it Friday, and you can do it at the end of the week too. But know that at the beginning, it's going to take you longer. It's going to take you 2 hours to do the planning the first time. And the one reason I decided to create the one-on-one walkthrough, because that was the hardest thing for me to learn, was the weekly planning process. So I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to do it together the very first time. And the next few weeks after that, block out 2 hours, and you'll probably get faster. You'll get down to an hour and a half and an hour. But it's that moment you're giving to yourself, and committing that 2 hours, you're going to free yourself up the rest of the week, and you're going to make more stuff happen. So, and then the daily planning, for me, daily planning is 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much I have carried over or how good I did a job of weekly planning. My weekly planning isn't as great. My daily planning will be more, but if your weekly planning is good, your daily planning will pop right up. And I'm sorry, someone's trying to get on. So. Okay, so the daily plan, so it's not a lot of time, right? And then do this for 30 days and you'll become the RPM master. So does everybody here commit to doing that? Can I get yes? Commitment? Okay. Does anybody feel intimidated by this? Okay. Okay, good. So it doesn't have to be this monumental thing. It's really just a few tweaks there and there that make you awesome. So module objectives today. What is OPA? What is RPM? Adopt the RPM mindset. Understand RPM planning method basics. This is the basic. The goal of this course is to take you beyond RPM and implement it in electronic use and being great. But this really here is we're going to talk about the basics. Some of you who haven't done RPM, we're going to cover it here. If you haven't done RPM, I still recommend you buy Time of Your Life or borrow it from somebody because Tony Robbins has got some great stuff, and I'm not Tony Robbins, but I can cover the basics here. We're going to build your life plan at the end of this module. That's your homework assignment. And then, the objective this week is complete those assignments before the next call. So the ultimate purpose of this plan of an RPM OPA mindset is to escape to-do lists. And by escaping your to-do lists, you're going to bring yourself into balance. You're going to get more stuff done. We're going to incorporate long-term goals. We're going to stay on track, set ourselves free, increase our effectiveness, confidence, happiness. We're going to look younger. We're going to be more attractive. We're going to be sexier. Everything's going to be great, right? So it will have a massive impact on your life. It really will. And I think all of you are on this call because you've seen somebody using it and the power is there. And just remember, it's easier than you think. You've made the decision. The decision to do it's already done. It's done, right? That decision is made. We got the commitment. We're moving forward. So the real secret here is what I like to call, what, why, how. What, why, how. So instead of you start your week out, okay, what do I have to do this week? Which doesn't sound great. What do I have to do this week? Oh, man. Okay. Instead, you start your week with, what do I want? Okay. Well, what do I want this week? And why do I want that? And the reason that why is great because why gives you your power. Why gives you the drive. And then you go, how am I going to get it? And the how you want to get it was that initial to-do lists. But this new way of thinking gives you different perspectives. So you come up with better ideas. You leverage other resources and you get it done in a better way. So what, why, how, what, why, how, what, why, how. Print that out, put it on your wall. What, why, how, what, why, how. So, and this is this is great for, not just planning, but you're going into meetings and, sometimes we walk into these meetings at work and nothing's happening. It's like, what do you guys want? Why are we doing that? How are we going to get it? It's real basic, but it's very powerful. And if we look at the acronyms, we're looking at OPA stands for outcome, purpose, action, which is also what, why, how. RPM stands for results, purpose, massive action. That is also what, why, how. So we're looking at a big shift. The core shift in here is the OPA, to do, what do I have to do, going to, what do I want, how do I get it? So any questions so far? Okay. So if we take a look at the differences between them, to-do lists, they really are never ending. They're kind of reaction based. They're short-sighted. There's really not much structure there. They don't include fulfillment. They're mostly urgency based. You have no way to prioritize in there, and they appear simple, but they're really a trap that you're going to get stuck in forever. Whereas RPM and this type of planning method at first appears difficult, but it really is freedom. And Tony calls it a results-focused massive action plan, and it incorporates meaning, long-term goals, and strategies into your day. It will reduce stress. It will make your schedule more flexible. You'll leverage new ideas, and you'll create shortcuts. When you start to understand patterns for getting stuff done, those patterns will repeat themselves. So you'll start to be more and more productive and more effective. And you'll get this laser-like focus. It's like, okay, here's I'm at 5 hours of meetings on Tuesday. But with your calendar, with your RPM planning during your week, boom, I'm blocking this out, chunking, I'm scheduling. I got 15 minutes there. I'm going to go listen to that new song I wanted to hear. Boom, I got it done. Or buy a card for my wife for Mother's Day. Or, so you can get that stuff in that's important. So that's what RPM really does. So if we look to an example, so when I started this week, or last week, I had, okay, what was if I was creating a to-do list, what would it look like? Okay, well, I had to prepare for this class. So I needed to create a PowerPoint presentation. I needed to email class members the schedule. I need to schedule my coaching calls around this with my clients around the training. I needed to update availability on my time trade calendar. I had to set up a GoToMeeting account. I had to update the website. So it's a lot of stuff to do, right? Review RPM notes, put together action items. Oh man, just you start your week, you're just like, so that's kind of what a to-do list, and we've all kind of been there. And if we switch over to a what, why, how, what I then did was, okay, instead of asking what do I have to do, I'm going to ask what do I want. So what result do I want to create this week? First of all, I wanted to create an outstanding RPM class that brings immense value to my clients that are so happy that they refer their friends and family to me, and I have even more clients that I can help, and my income skyrockets, and I'm able to provide a stable, supporting household for my family in the future. So there's a little bit of power behind that, right? Wow, that feels better about what I'm doing. Why do I want this result? Well, because I want to take my coaching and teaching experience to the next level. I want to create raving fans around the world. I want to make people's lives better and create a chain reaction of love, abundance, contribution, and changes the world for the better. And just it's because of what I'm made of. And how am I going to do this? Well, there's that to-do list. Boom. So that slightly different structuring there brings an entirely different feeling and pull and drive, because I can really feel it in my core on why I'm doing this. And when you're alignment with your core, then you're going to produce better results, because you're going to be more prone to be in flow, and you're going to make stuff happen even better. And the real power of this type of planning method is that you get to the point where you get to ask this other question. And the very last question here is, what other things can I do to achieve this same result that I haven't thought of yet? Because if you were looking at your to-do lists, you wouldn't come up, you write down what I have to do. But asking this question, what other things what other things can I do to achieve this goal that I haven't thought of yet? Let's see. Number one, I can brainstorm on the biggest lessons I've learned on mastering RPM myself. Okay, there was some good stuff there, and also the challenges. I can brainstorm on the great knowledge that's been shared with me about RPM, and I could even go and prepare questions or prepare answers to questions I think I'll be asked on the call, so I'll be prepared. So do you guys see the difference there in that type of planning with the to-do list versus the what, why, how? Yeah? Silence? Okay. Okay, so now if you listen to RPM, they talk about RPM blocks every single day for every single category. So, you can do that, but in reality, you're going to have some basic RPM blocks. So I'm not creating this type of plan every single day, right? I have categories in my life, because basically when we start taking action and putting our actions and results into our weekly planning process, we start to chunk them together, right? This is my coaching business, and I call it inspiration, where I'm creating content to inspire people around the world. That's one block. The other one is connections. I'm reaching out to connect with clients around the world and make friends and people and help. So, and the other one I have like my home, my family, my parenting. So by having those blocks, you then create that RPM kind of what, why, how within that, and then you just reuse it, right? So it's not like every day you need 15 minutes of creating these, but so as you start to chunk, you'll create those. But by doing this process, it's going to take some work to focus on thinking this way, and that's where the real shift happens. So the what, why, how, what, why, how. So the other thing you want to do is is a picture. Let me get pictures out of order here. I'm going to jump back to the picture. So the components. Did my deck get wrong? This slide deck got moved. That's interesting. I had a slide disappear. I made an edit. I apologize. 1 second here. There it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's the basics of the what, why, how. Now we're back to look the components of the plan. Okay, so what was actually in the plan? And so RPM and the time of your life and the planning consists of one, a calendar, what you're using today. I still use an Outlook calendar or Google Calendar because with all the meeting invites I get, integration with time trade, integration with my mobile phone, that's what I use. You have goals. So whether we have written goals or not, we still have things we want in life. We have our life plan, and the life plan is really kind of where the drive comes from, and really what's most important to you. It really kind of helps you stay in alignment with where you're at. And I look at my life plan every week when I do my weekly planning, and it reconnects me to my focus and direction of where I'm at. And the last part is our categories. And the categories really is a place for your stuff. Really simple. And on the time of your life system, Tony Robbins talks to them about drawers. So if you had a drawer for plates, a drawer for glasses, a drawer for silverware, you would separate them and then you know exactly where they're at. But with RPM categories, what we're going to do is we're going to create categories that are areas of your life. So you have personal categories, you have professional categories. And for personal categories, I could have my body, I could have my marriage, I could have parenting, I could have my finance, I could have things like maybe playing music, listening to music, photography. On my professional plan, I could have my coaching abilities, my marketing, my public speaking, my different areas there. And the goal is to have areas where you want to be better in life. So you're picking these categories that you want to focus on, and there's going to be the ones that you want to get to to get through the professional side and also the personal side. So if you have some spirituality stuff and you want to get more in balance and do yoga or meditate, put a category there. But the categories really are a place for your stuff. So if you are sitting at your desk and you're on a conference call and you're on hold and an idea comes up for one of your categories, you're like, oh, if I had this great idea for my family and maybe we could take this trip here. And instead of just scribbling it down on a post or emailing it to yourself, you would flip to your category, which was for your family, and just capture it right there. Boom, it's out of your head, gone. And then when you go to the next week planning, you can review it and grab it. So it allows you to get stuff out of your head. If you use like Franklin planners and stuff like that, it's kind of the same type of thing. But the categories go a little bit further because they incorporate the what, why, how, and the life planning here. So this is a picture of my RPM binder that I have on my desk. And what I do is I put pictures in here that I like to look at. So I've got pictures of me and my wife. I've got some inspirational pictures. I've also got other like emails, blog posts. There's some articles in here I like. So basically the structure of the life plan that I'm showing you guys today is the structure that's on the page that's on my life plan right there. And then as I flip the pages, I put pictures all over this. So there are pictures that so this is a place I like spending time. When you get into your categories, use it as an opportunity to put pictures of the things you want in that category. If it's physical body, have somebody in there who inspires you. If it's auto racing, put a picture of your car. So put pictures in there that will help drive you in the right direction. So for your life plan, if you did Date with Destiny, you did a lot of these things, but this is kind of the structure of the life plan that I want you to follow, to fill out here. And I'm going to send you just a template that a Word doc template that you can use to create this. So if I'm giving you the example of mine right here. So my ultimate purpose, the purpose to my life, excuse my language, is to be fucking passionate, enjoy connecting, and ignite love and joy in myself and others. That's my ultimate purpose. My ultimate vision is a life of absolute wonder, joy, amazement, and outstanding results. A life of mastery. A life of contribution filled with love, passion, grace, happiness, family, friends, growth, and amazement. A life of wonder, living every moment to the fullest and free of regret. A legendary life. Power virtues. Power virtues are kind of four virtues or values you want to focus on that are most important to you in life. For me, it's love, gratitude, it's happiness, and it's curiosity. So those are the values that I want to focus on to shape my life in the direction I want. Number 4, primary question. If you did the work, you know what the primary question is. If this is the first time you're hearing primary question, think of a primary question that would really empower you and can help drive you in the right direction. My primary question is, how can I appreciate even more of the love, abundance, and guidance that is already in my life today? And number 5 is who am I? You know, I'm a badass motherfucker that spreads love and joy around the world. I'm an outstanding husband, father, friend, father, student, teacher that looks for ways to contribute to the world. And number 6 are, these are some of my favorite quotes I've got. You know, life is about moments, don't wait for them. Hunger makes all the difference. Easier is not better. Done is better than perfect. And I kind of change it up sometimes, and I put some quotes from like Abraham Hicks and some from, you know, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle. I've got some stuff in there too. But that's kind of the structure of the life plan. So you can see it's not a lot of content. You can do this in 15 minutes, but it's really kind of what's important to you. So put some thought into that. So any questions about the life plan? Anybody? Okay. I'm going to move forward here. So I'm sorry? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're cutting out there. Could you repeat that? Yeah. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I forgot about the Facebook group, but we can certainly do that. That's easy to do. Yeah. Um, we yeah. Yeah, and you can join the group, and there's also the Date with Destiny Facebook group that's very active. And there's if you put that question up there, you'll get a ton of answers. So even if you're not in didn't go, if you didn't go to Date with Destiny, shoot me a message, and I'll put a request to add you to that group because you know it's not being checked by anybody, and it's a great resource. And that group is pretty amazing, but the amount of support that's in that group there. But I would also encourage you, you know, if you need help and you know, get a coach too. A coach is going to help. So if you don't have a coach, everybody should have a coach. But I won't go on my rant on coaching. But yeah, getting feedback from other people that's certainly a great idea. So, but thanks for that question and comment there. I'm going to jump ahead. So the next part is the categories. Right? We got the calendar, we had our goals, we had our life plan, and we have our categories. And the categories is really kind of where greatness comes from. That's what I think. So if you could imagine for a second, what is one area in your life that you've really been wanting to focus on and improve and make better, or something you love to do, but hasn't been happening because you haven't had time to fit it in your schedule? So if you could pick out one area in your life like that, you know, for me, it could have been, you know, I've been wanting to learn to play music forever, but I just never do it. And I love listening to music, but I just, you know, I've owned a guitar forever and I've never learned how to play it. And I'm just like, I've always wanted to play music because I just love music so much. So I'm like, okay, well, imagine how my life would be today if I had allocated even just 30 minutes a week for the past year to that area, or whatever that area was for you. Maybe it was working out, maybe it was learning to cook, maybe it was, you know, painting or doing martial arts or something. And then imagine how your life would be if you were to allocate 30 minutes to that area for the next 10 years. You know, 30 minutes in a week is not a hard time, but when you aren't executing your time properly, you're not able to get the stuff done. So, you know, this is the opportunity to grab to make sure you're getting all the things done and not just the urgent things, the things that are important, the things that add the juice to your life, the things that are really inspire you and drive you. So categories is how that happened. And check your emotional reaction to the category process to make sure that it's not negative. When I started doing RPM planning, I had some negative associations to planning. My coach said to me, "Okay, Jason, answer this question. Planning is blank," and I said, "Prison." Okay, so that is not a very good belief for being planning, you know. And so I've changed that to planning, and RPM is freedom, right? So we do have subconscious beliefs that are there that may be blocking you. And if you're feeling a negative emotion or a negative reaction to any of this stuff, just acknowledge it and say, well, is it true? No, it's artificial from somewhere. Just let it go. So just, you know, try to position it with some excitement. and if you can get some excitement around this and enjoy and fun and appreciation and adventure, whatever really drives you, it's going to help you pull it through. And that's why this is a good exercise. What is that area you really wanted to focus on? And imagine if I focus on it for the next 10 years. And then imagine what happens if I don't focus on it and another 10 years goes by. I'll never play music. I'll never have a better job. My health will be horrible if I don't do anything about my body the next 10 years, right? So it's good to give yourself a positive driver and a negative driver. And a negative driver is the pain and regret you'd have in the future by not taking action now. So it's good to have both of those. So categories are focus areas of improvement in your life, and talked about that a little bit. So personal categories, there are some personal categories: family, friends, health, finance, music, martial arts, photography, reading, contributions, spirituality, growth. Professional categories: leadership, sales, marketing, finance, accounting, taxes, social media. So pick as many as you think you need. Try to bundle them together as much as possible. I think, again, I want you to create 2 categories for your for this course. I would strongly encourage you to go and create them all. But right now, let's just focus on 2 so you're not overwhelmed. And you may end up with 5 personal categories and 3 business, or 3 and 5, or 5 and 6. But I wouldn't try to get many more than. I would try to keep it under 10 categories total, because the beginning of the weeks are going to be tough. And a lot of these things you can chunk into higher level categories. So to give you an example, my personal categories that I have, and although I understand this stuff inside and out, I'm still adopting it even more and more as my time goes by. So I've got a category. The first categories in my book is my body, physical body, financial ass kicker, magic moment maker, because I've got young children and I want to make sure that I take pictures of them growing up, and I want to have photos and videos, and also want to do surprises and fun stuff. I have outstanding husband, father, and friend, and then I have life of mastery for my personal growth. So I kind of keep it simple right there, and I can pretty much get almost all the stuff in my life into one of those categories. So but if you want to have more, have more. And then what you want to do is go through the process of changing the names of the categories so they're more powerful. So instead of saying family photography or family videographer, I say magic moment maker. Instead of my body exercise, I call it physical powerhouse, or I say my rockin' hot body, and it makes me laugh, and that makes it fun. And then for coaching, I'm the igniter of the human spirit. I throw gasoline on people's human spirit and watch it take off. And that's kind of what I do, and I'm a force of change for that. So that's kind of how to make these categories more fun and exciting. And again, these are capture logs, right? So when you've got your binder on your desk or next to you and ideas come up, don't carry them around in a head. You've got an exact place to put it. Oh, I had an idea of this new workout I wanted to try. Flip to my body category, put it in the capture section, boom, it's done. I've got a log there, and I can work on that later. Or a coach, hey, I found this book that another coach recommended I want to read. Flip over your coaching page, write it down there, boom, it's out of your head, but it's captured in the right place. So that's kind of overall the categories. Any questions so far? Okay. So the components in the categories are like the components in the RPM plan, or I'm sorry, like the components in the life plan. So you start out with ultimate vision, the what, why, how. What do you want? Why do you want it? You have 3 focus areas, which is, if I've got 3 areas in this category, I want to for this category to be great, these are 3 areas I need to focus on. Then I have the roles that I'm going to play. I have role models, I have mentors, I have resources at my disposal, then I have my 1-year goals and my quarterly goals. And basically the quarterly goals are just simply a breakdown of your yearly goals. Given that we're at May right now, I would figure out what your 1-year goal in each category is. And don't kill yourself writing goals. Hey, in my physical body, I'd like to lose 10 pounds this year. I would like to be able to run this marathon in under 4 hours. I would like to be able to do 10 pull-ups. Then break it down quarterly. You'll be really surprised at that the second you create a category, and that even if you took 60 seconds and created a vision that had 2 sentences, when you start to think about that area, when your week comes up, it shifts your it shifts your mindset and your ability to take action because that vision is there. You've taken a second. Why do I want this body? Because I want to be around for my children, right? And the other keys to success is include pictures if you like, and make the binder a place that you like to look at. You know, I open mine, I go, oh, because I got lots of family pictures and friends in there that are exciting to me. So here's an example, my rockin' hot body category. So that my ultimate vision is my body looks and feels better than ever before. I have abundant energy, I'm strong, flexible, I'm a specimen of outstanding health. I am energized and need only 5 hours of sleep per night at most. I'm getting healthier and younger every year that goes by. And the ultimate purpose behind this is, you know, I'm going to be 40 this year. I've got a 2.5-year-old and I've got a 8-day-old baby, little boy. And if I would have run with these boys when they're in high school, I got to get in shape now. And you know, I don't want to watch my body get older and older. I want to watch my body get better and better and better. I want to be able to run and hike and climb and snowboard and skateboard when I'm in my 60s. And I'm, you know, I want to run with my children's grandchildren. So can you see the power and that purpose there? So versus going to the gym every day, got to go work out. So pulling the vision and purpose in there does great. So does a great job of pulling you there. Your 3 to thrive is your 3 focus areas that are going to help you in that category stay focused. So for me, for my physical body, Born to Run. I love running. I read the book by Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. It changed my life, and I started running in my mid 30s, ran barefoot style, and I ran, you know, a 2:24 half marathon 3 months ago that had 3,000 feet of elevation climbing in it, and I just love doing it. So I know if I run, it solves the issues I used to have with blood pressure. It helps with asthma, allergies. It's just great. So number 1, running. Number 2 is the food I eat, right? But instead of calling it healthy diet, you know, or eating good food, I call it high octane fuel, because if I want my body to be like a high performance race car, you know, why not, right? I need to put some high quality fuel in that. So, you know, some questions here that I like to ask myself every week is, well, how will it make me feel to eat that type of food? You know, what does my body really need? And let's say there's something there that doesn't taste good, or something that is an indulgence for me. How long will that taste last? Okay, so I'll eat, let's say I eat a piece of cake. I'll feel great. I'll get an endorphin buzz from the chocolate, but after that, my gut I'll be bloated, you know. So those are some questions that really help me watch what I'm eating. And then also scheduling my workouts. I found that putting them down is easier than trying to squeeze them in any time I had was free. So those are my 3 focus areas. For roles, these are basically different roles I play. So I'm like the Energizer dad. I'm the salad king. I'm the lover of fruit and veg. I'm the world's strongest man. I'm the age-defying wonder. I'm a posture man. I have outstanding posture. So those are some things I read, and it kind of makes me smile a little bit, and kind of helps me think about the different areas within that category. My role models, you know, GSP, mixed martial arts fighter. I love his ethics, his work ethics, and you know, who he is. Dean Karnassus is that ultra marathon runner. His book is pretty awesome. And you know, my trainer. So those are some people I look up to. Could be your coach, it could be Tony Robbins, could be your neighbor, you know. And then the resources are, what resources are at your disposal? For me, it's like I just moved to Rockland, so I've got a new gym that's got some great stuff there. I have access to a pool now. I can swim. I can do jiu-jitsu classes. I've got the alkalinity living health diet that will help me. I've got Whole Foods, healthy grocery stores. I can talk to people there. They know a lot about eating healthy. And there's also the Facebook friends I have online who, there's a lot of fitness people there. You know, there's like 6 or 8 fitness people in the Date with Destiny group alone, and they've said radical transformation. So you want some help, just ask, it's there. And then you have your 1-year goals. So these are the things you really want, and they should stretch you. You know, it's like I wrote down a 1-year goal in December to do a backflip, like just standing backflip. And I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I still got 7 months to figure it out. So I got that. I want to lose body weight, lose body fat. I want to increase my energy, feel better. So that's my sample of a body, or of a category there. So, and once you create the category, it's done, right? It's not like you do this every week. So, and any questions or comments about that? Well, I would say for this class, pick 2. You know, you'll eventually want to, and the reason I want you to pick two is I want you to be able to pick two that you can manage and you can do it. And I want one to be an area you know you need to work in, and I want the other one to be an area that will excite you. So, well, I would, as many as you need, but, I would say no more than 5 to 7 for each personal and professional. Um, so what I would do is create the two for this course, and then after you create the two, go ahead and write down all the areas you think you have. And if you've got 5 or 10, just write the list down and pick the ones you want to start for the class. And we'll work on these, and then we'll write down the other ones, and you can create like a tab in your binder for those other categories, but just so at least have a capture area. But then as you start working, then one week, okay, you got 15 minutes. Next week, you can do one more category. But make it easier on yourself. Don't beat yourself up that you don't have 50 categories tomorrow. And you'll realize that you'll create a category, and then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh my God, I didn't even need this one. It's like I thought I needed this. I thought I needed RPM as a category itself because I needed to learn it. So I'm going to make RPM its own category. And I was like, that's just dumb. It needs to go into just growth and improvement. So, and then swap them out. And then you'll find out, well, this area needs more focus. It's, I'm going to give it a category itself. So, but yeah, start with two. But yeah, pick one of those that will excite you, because we're going to put in some energy in some area that you want to put some area in, For me, if I was doing this right now, I would probably focus more on like the photography, because I love taking pictures, and it's fun with a new baby and my 2-year-old. So that excites me. And then sharing those pictures with our family, it makes them happy. So that's a good way to do that. So any other questions there? Okay. Yeah, I know I talk quickly, but okay. So this right here is a picture of my binder right before I go into my body category. Although it still says body right now, but on my tab. But so that was a picture of me and my wife when we met like 5 years ago, when I was actually in a lot better shape. There's GSP, and that's my jiu-jitsu instructor down there in the lower right-hand corner. And there's a picture of me when I was in a lot better shape, before I had a couple back injuries and neck injuries. So I like the way I look at that picture. So it's kind of inspirational to me. And you can see I got my ultimate vision. I got my ultimate purpose. I got my focus areas and my roles. And it's that simple. I also create a separate page for my yearly goals. I basically just took a Word document and said, these are my yearly goals, and I broke them down. And there is a place in the sheets that I'm giving you to do the RPM planning within that. So when you create your categories, you can create the RPM blocks directly in there. So the assignments for today is we're going to have complete your life plan. And I would say give yourself 15 minutes. Don't stress out. If you don't need to take 2 hours. You can get it done in 15 minutes. If you want to take longer, great. But just say, I'm going to give myself a few minutes to get each of these things done. If you've got a wide open calendar, it's a lot easier to get things done when you give yourself deadlines. I think that a blank calendar is the most difficult thing to be for productivity, because you've got so much space. So give yourself some deadlines. Say, hey, I'm going to knock this. I'm going to knock this out. I'm going to give myself the life plan. I'm going to do 15 minutes. Get excited. Get excited. This is your life. This is, and I will admit that I probably spent more time last year planning my trip to Jamaica than I did my life last year. So, which maybe that is a little upside down. So get excited. This is your life. This is what do you want, put it in there. Complete 2 categories, one fun category, one other category. You can do both of those in less than 30 minutes. Identify the other categories, just write them down, and if you're making a 3-ring binder, create a tab for it. So you've got a capture area. I like 3-ring binders because it's easy to print on your computer and put stuff in there, but if you're using an RPM binder, you can do that too. The RPM binder, if you print on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper sideways in landscape, you can actually fit it in the same binder, and you can fold the end of it too. So, but 8.5 by 11 is a little bit easier. If you are going to use the Evernote software, download and install it. It's free to set up your account. We're going to be going through the PC-based version of it. It also syncs with your smartphones and your tablets and stuff like that. But of course, the input with your computer and your keyboard and your mouth is easier. So that's where we're going to be doing. We're going to be, and for those of you that paid for the full course, the complete course, we have the one-on-one coaching calls. And so one of the requirements I'm putting on you guys is the calls must take place in May. If you don't take place in May, you lose that one-on-one call with me. And the reason why is I'm trying to push you to do it. If it goes into May, it's not going to do us any good. If you've got some difficult circumstances around scheduling, let me know. But right now I want all those calls to be scheduled in May. So there's 2 calls. So complete your life plan, complete the 2 categories, write down other categories, install Evernote, and schedule your coaching one-on-one calls. You can schedule those as soon as we get off the phone, and I'll give you the links. So the 30-minute call, schedule this call before next week's call. So if you're joining the same session next Friday morning, schedule this 30-minute call with me before then. Schedule it through my time trade calendar. You click right there, it'll give you a slot. My calendar's open 6 a.m. to midnight pretty much every day of the week. So I do have some kind of heavy stuff during the middle of the weeks because I'm in that Robbins coach training now. But evenings, weekends, and mornings, there's definitely spots there. We can do a phone call, we can do Skype. And what we're going to do on the 30-minute call is we're going to review your life plan. We're going to review your 2 categories. You need to email those to me before the call. And then I'll see if I can help you sharpen those a little bit and answer any other questions. So that's a 30-minute one-on-one call. Go ahead and schedule that again before next week's call. That's the link right there. The other call is the 90-minute weekly planning walkthrough. So basically schedule this call after next week's call. So next week's call, we're going to go through the Evernote software, the paper, integrating the different tools, and then also the weekly and daily planning process. So as soon as this call is over, then we can schedule those things. So sometime after next session, before the end of May, schedule that call. It's a 90-minute call. We can do a phone call. We can do Skype. We can do Google+. I've actually been having a lot more luck lately with video conference calls on Google+ and Skype because the quality is better and you can do more than 2 people for free. And then what must be completed prior to the 90-minute call is 1, the life plan in 2 categories, which you've already done this week. A printed copy of the weekly planning worksheet. Have your category binder ready. Have some pages printed. If you're using electronic, have Evernote on your PC, and I'll walk you through that process for up to 90 minutes. And download Evernote, start to play with it if you haven't used it before. Because I use a combination of Evernote. I use Evernote kind of for my weekly planning. I use Excel for my daily planning, and I use a binder for my categories. So, but you can mix those any way you want, and I'm happy to help you tailor that to what works best for you. If it makes sense during these one-on-one calls, we can also jump on just a GoToMeeting web conference, and we can share each other's desktop if you want me to show you on your computer. So I am going to send out an email. Oh, just one more second. I'm gonna send out an email within the next 30 minutes that has all of these assignments on there. It's going to have the links to the time trade calendar, and it's going to have yeah, that's it. So now I am ready for questions. Yeah. No, PDFs can never be edited because PDFs are read-only documents, right? So if it was a Word document, think of Evernote like an electronic notebook, basically. So it's an electronic notebook that has folders in it, right? So you can, I wish Evernote had multiple categories now, but basically you have primary folders and subfolders. So I have one that's got my personal categories, and I've got my categories in there. I've got one that's got my finance, I've got my day job, my other stuff in there. And you can put files in there, right? So you can put a Word document into Evernote, so that if you're in Evernote, you search, it pops up and it will launch the Word document. It also syncs to your phone, your tablet if you're using that. The other great things about Evernote is it has a web clipper. So if you actually have install the plugin in your web browser and you see like articles or things like that on a website you want to grab, you click that button and it dumps it into Evernote as a screenshot, as a web page. So that, you know, a lot of times when I'm reading inspirational stuff or find Tony Robbins stories or things I like, I grab them and throw them into Evernote. So I've got this whole entire folder of that. You can also share folders too. So if you work with somebody else, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share one of my folders with you with some of the templates that I have. So you can actually share folders with people and they can be read-only, or, you know, coworkers going to have them. There's a free version. The licensed version, which is $50 a year, increases the amount you can upload, like your data capacity. I have the licensed one because I thought they deserved $50 from me because it was so awesome. But I've never hit the limit there. And then there's also a ton of plugins that are really cool. Like there's a plugin for Evernote called File Fetch This. And basically, you go to File Fetch This and you pay them $10 for the year, and they grab all your bank account and your utility bills and cell phone bill statements electronically and dump it into Evernote. So all of my home bills, like with the major banks, Wells Fargo bank accounts, you know, my cell phone bills, my utility bills, my TV bills, internet, all those things are just pulled automatically into Evernote. So there's some really cool plugins. They even make this special binder that you can, I'm sorry, not binder, a special journal that's formatted in a certain way that when you write in it, when you take a picture of your phone, Evernote recognizes it and formats it a certain way too. So Evernote's pretty powerful. Microsoft makes a version that's called OneNote that's been out for quite a while. I used that about 5 years ago, but I think Evernote's the best one. So questions, you know, you can email me with questions. Facebook me, message me. I like Facebook messages because it shows the history, and everybody kind of lives on Facebook. But any other questions so far? I know I talked kind of fast. I'm going to have a replay of this on Vimeo probably within the next 24 hours. And when it's up there, I will email it out. Yes, I'm going to send a follow-up email with the assignments probably in the next 30 minutes. It's going to have all the assignments I listed out. It's going to have the template for the life planner. It's going to have the category template. It's going to have the links to my time trade calendar. So yeah, so that's everything you need. I will send out another email depending on how long it takes to get the video uploaded to where you guys can review the call. So. Mm-hmm. So what Time Trade does is it's a website that plugs into your Outlook or your Google Calendar, and it creates a website link where I basically go in there and I created a 30-minute appointment, I created a 45-minute appointment, you know, and then you go into the Time Trade website and you put it on the calendar with what that availability is, and it looks into your Outlook or Google Calendar, and it updates the availability like instantly. And what the great thing about it is you don't have to play email back and forth of when you're available, right? Like you as the client can you send that to the client, they go to the website, boom, they grab an open spot, it sends you guys both an invite and locks it out on your calendar. If they need to cancel it, there's a link in the bottom, they can click to cancel it, just go reschedule another one. If your assistant needs access to your calendar, like a Google Calendar or Outlook calendar, you could share it for them and they can view it that way. Okay, awesome. All right, any other questions? Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. He's a good sleeper, so it's pretty exciting. But yeah, the AST training next week is pretty intense from what I've heard. So yeah, I've got some stuff going on. I appreciate that. Well, I have been telling her for a long time. I'm like, you know, I think it's going to be really short. And she's like, stop saying that, and it was, yeah, it really was. So